Guys, what's up? It's Adam here, aka Cena Guy. A up-to-date movie review. Most of the ones I've been uploading recently have all been re-uploads from my previous channel that got terminated. Well, right now I'm in the mood to review an up-to-date review. A review for today's date, basically. And it's the start of a whole new horror franchise, like a horror comedy franchise. Now, this particular franchise can only be loved by certain individuals. I suppose if you're a die-hard horror fanatic, you'll like this type of movie. But then again, I've looked at all kinds of reviews and rants on YouTube and all over the internet. People are giving their reasons for liking this franchise, and they've gave their reasons for not liking the franchise, and I can agree with both parties. I, for one, well, I can't honestly say I love this franchise to death. I mean, I love it enough to own it on Blu-ray. But there's only about 2 or 3 movies I like in this entire franchise, and the franchise I'm talking about is Leprechaun. As you can see, this is the Blu-ray plus digital HD version. Blu-ray, it contains Leprechaun, the first movie, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the Hood, 6 Back to the Hood, and that horrendous piece of shit of a remake, Leprechaun Origins. And like I say, there's only about 2 or 3 movies in this whole franchise I like. The rest are like, but there's some bad ones as well, which I don't particularly like. Now, right off the bat, if you like these movies and you like me, right, easygoing, if it's horror, I like it, blah, blah, blah. I'm not an easy guy to please. You know, if you like the movie, fine. If you don't, you don't. Again, it all depends on the person's taste at the end of the day. Now, if you hate these movies, I can understand why. You don't even have to give me your reasons for disliking these movies. It's pretty obvious why somebody would dislike them. They say they're too silly, they're too dull, boring, or, you know, annoying. The portrayal of Warwick Davis' character of the Leprechaun is too annoying. I can understand where you're coming from, but right off the bat, I'm just going to say, I've met Warwick Davis. Okay, he's a great guy. I've met him 2 or 3 times, and I particularly like him in the Leprechaun films. He also starred in Willow, and he also starred as a villain in Small Town Folk, but I did not like that movie. But yeah, he's been in Willow and some other great roles, you know, as a small actor. But his particular character, Leprechaun, he's upset. Some people are obsessed with his character, some particular horror, you know, fanatics. Some say the character's too annoying or not scary, you know, and just downright straight up annoying, basically, because of the way he laughs, the way he talks, and the way his character's portrayed. But I like the Leprechaun character. Okay, so that's me out the way saying I like the Leprechaun character. And the first movie I'm going to be reviewing is the first Leprechaun movie, and that's one of the movies in the franchise I do like. Like I say, it's Warwick Davis' first time portraying the Leprechaun, and Jennifer Aniston's making her movie debut with this. Played a girl called Tori, I believe. And a lot of people think this is Jennifer Aniston's worst movie. And it was a debut movie debut as well. So that's a bit of a shame to make your first movie debut and it's considered the worst one. You know? But everyone's got to start from somewhere. Basically, the film opens up with this guy coming home drunk. You know, he says he captured a leprechaun. The wife is saying, don't be stupid, blah, blah, blah. Of course, this guy's a heavy drinker. And anyhow, the leprechaun is indeed in this box, and he gets out. And he, you know, he causes havoc straight away, straight up on his release. You know, the guy comes in the living room, and the leprechaun's there drinking a cup of tea, and he's going, your wife makes a fine cup of tea, sir. You know, so the leprechaun's got like all these catchphrases which rhyme and everything. You know, he gets out like his clover and the leprechaun's like, put it away, put it away. So, you know, straight away that 4-leaf clover is the leprechaun's weakness. Anyhow, the scene then continues in the cellar. The guy manages to put the leprechaun in a crate. And he puts his 4-leaf clover on top of the crate to trap the leprechaun. So then he'd be able to, like, keep him a prisoner, basically. Now, right off the bat, you'd say, if this 4-leaf clover can kill the leprechaun, why didn't he use that to kill the leprechaun? What was the whole point of trapping him in this crate? I admit this film does raise some questions, and it does make you scratch your head a little bit, thinking he's got the key to the leprechaun's kill here, the four-leaf clover. Why didn't he use that to kill the leprechaun? But no, we've got a head-scratching moment where he traps the leprechaun in a huge crate in the cellar, and he places the clover on top of the cellar, on top of the crate to stop the leprechaun from breaking out. And then he suffers a stroke. Years later down the line, Jennifer Aniston plays a girl by the name of Tori and her father. And they move to this cabin, and Tori's not like a fan of the countryside. She's like a city girl, but the father thinks he's doing the right thing by making the little family move into this house. We get introduced to these three characters who are painters. Okay, now one of these painters, when I first saw him for the first time, was like, I swear I've seen him in another movie. And we're talking about Mark Holton, who plays Ozzy Jones. He's like the large painter. And I do remember where I saw him from. He was in the that little documentary film known as Gacy, and he actually played John Wayne Gacy in that little horror documentary. So there you go. Like I said, we've got these two other painters. One's like a good-looking guy, and the other one's just a kid. Now, Ozzy's like a bit, mentally ill or doesn't have a very high IQ. And the kid, basically looks up to him and says, one day we're going to fix your brain and all that kind of thing. Well, Jennifer Aniston's character immediately has like a love crush on like on one of the painters. We get a scene where Ozzy's like in the cellar. The leprechaun breaks out because he moves the four-leaf clover away. And straight away, the leprechaun's on a mission to find his gold. So he threatens Ozzy, saying, "Where's me gold? Tell me, or else I'll bite your ear off and I'll make a boat out of it." So the leprechaun's on a mission to find his gold. Ozzy manages to escape because we learn that the leprechaun, since he's been trapped for that whole time, his powers are weak. So the leprechaun thinks the only way to get his powers back and get what he wants is to be on one mission to find his gold. Okay. We get a scene where that little fairy tale comes true about there's a rainbow and there's a pot of gold on the end of it. Well, Ozzy and the kid, they go to the end of the rainbow, they find the pot of gold, and the little kid thinks that's the key to spend money getting Ozzy's brain fixed, to make him more of an intelligent guy. One thing leads to another, but along the way it's like comedy horror, because we get all these guys, we get the painter, we get Jennifer Aniston's character, all that trying to battle the leprechaun, when the leprechaun at the end of the day all he's trying to do is search for his gold. There's a scene in the pawn shop, where they like take this, the gold to like this pawn shop owner. Leprechaun kills him with a pogo stick. Basically bounces on top of his body with this pogo stick, making him puke out blood and all that shit. And this pawn guy basically has like this obsession with shoes, and so does this leprechaun. He's like a shoe fetish, polishes shoes. I don't know if that's a leprechaun lucky charm or a legend or something like that, but this leprechaun has this fascination with shoes, about keeping them clean and all that kind of stuff. So that's straight away about one of the leprechaun's personas. So I thought we got a good little horror scene where the leprechaun's leaving like the pawn shop in this toy car. He gets pulled over by a cop. Gets chased into the woods. There's like a little bit of a hide and seek sequence, and there's a scene where the leprechaun jumps on the cop's shoulders, breaks his neck. I mean, quality-wise, this movie, many people would say some of these scenes are fake and, they look too far-fetched. Well, to tell you the truth, this film did not have a high budget. Just bear with me right now, I might be able to tell you the budget. Well, according to this, it has a budget of $1 million, but made $8.6 million at the box office. But I'm sure the budget was way more lower than that. You don't believe everything you read on the internet, but this budget on this film was really low, and I thought it was impressive. I mean, even the scene where you get that little scene towards the end where like the leprechaun pulls out that copper's eye. Yeah, it's a prop, but how they're doing it was pretty good. He pulled this cop's eye out of his eye socket. The leprechaun placed it in his. This is that scene where Jennifer Aniston pokes him in the eye, and leprechaun basically replaces it with the cop's eye. Basically, there's got shotgun shooting scenes, but that's not enough to kill the leprechaun. There's a scene where a leprechaun's chasing after Jennifer Aniston on a pair of roller skates. you know, because they're doing all they can to kill the leprechaun, but they can't find the actual key to actually kill this leprechaun. So during this time, Ozzy swallowed one of the gold coins, you know, to stop the leprechaun from getting what he wants, which is his gold. You know, and Jennifer Aniston goes to the mental institute, you know, to try and find the guy who suffered the stroke at the start of the film, to try and find out how to kill the leprechaun. He's still alive, but not 100%, but he manages to confirm that the only way to kill the leprechaun is with a four-leaf clover. You know, Jennifer Aniston's chased away by the leprechaun again, who invades the mental institute. You know, so basically now Jennifer Aniston, Ozzy, and the two other painters, you know, they're on one big search to find this four-leaf clover. I mean, they managed to succeed to find one. The kid basically says something like "fuck you" to the leprechaun. He like shoots this four-leaf clover into the leprechaun's mouth. You know, he starts melting, falls into a well. He gets knocked down the well again as he's just about to try to get out. They pour gasoline on the well and it fucking blows up, hence thinking that the leprechaun's dead. And that's your movie, basically, to put it forward. So, many, after hearing that type of plot, many of you were scratching your head thinking, what kind of a fucking movie is that? Especially for a horror movie. And some would say I can understand why people hate that movie so much, for a ridiculous plot and, you know, a poor telling of a horror icon like Leprechaun. You know, and along the way you've got all these ridiculous things like Leprechaun on roller skates, driving toy cars, getting pulled over by police, and all that kind of thing. Well, that's meant to be the comedy side. Many would say, how can you laugh at that sort of comedy? But I'll just tell you what I liked from the film, first of all. I thought it was impressed for the budget that they got. I was impressed by that. It was nice to see Jennifer Aniston. She looked so beautiful in this movie. Like I say, I was already familiar with Warwick Davis in films like Willow. You know, so it was nice to see him in a different type of character. You know, and the Leprechaun character itself, like I say, he does all these different rhymes in different movies. You know, he's like a horror comedy type of character. He's definitely not Freddy Krueger, put it that way. But I thought he did a good job at being funny. I thought he did a good job at being scary. Many would disagree, depending on their taste, but I, for one, was just satisfied. I like the Leprechaun character. It's just a shame this film never got more of a higher budget and it never got more of like a bigger reputation than it already has. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. I mean, more facts I can state about this movie, Leprechaun. Like I said, I already mentioned it made $8.6 million at the box office. The budget, I can argue with. It says here $1 million, but I'm sure it was less than that. The official release date for this movie was January 8th of 1993. Directed by Mark Jones and written by Mark Jones as well. I can tell you more about the cast. Yeah, like I said, Warwick Davis played the Leprechaun, Jennifer Aniston as Tori, Ken Allen as Nathan Murphy, Mark Holton as Ozzy Jones, like I already mentioned, Robert Hyde Gorman as Alex Murphy. And we get a lot more cast members who I'm not very familiar with, but I mean, for people who dislike this movie, they can just say, look at the reception. And according to this reception stuff right here, it did say it got very negative film reception the second it was released. I mean, they said the film does have its fans, its fan base, but it was mainly negative. And it was Jennifer Aniston's considered worst role. So, you know, and sadly from here, you know, the Leprechaun films do get a little bit of bad reputation as it goes along. But the first movie, the one I've just reviewed moments ago, it's one of the movies I like. Okay? I've got my acceptance for liking that movie to a certain degree. I admit Leprechaun 2 is my favourite one at the whole franchise. But sadly, they don't get any better from there. Straight off the bat, I'll say 1 I like, 2 is my favourite, 3 not so much, 4 is ridiculous, 5 I did not like, 6 I enjoyed, and the remake, hated. So, that's my little brief summary, you know what I mean? I'll get into reasons as to why I like certain of those sequels, you know, rather than some in different reviews, but that's my review so far on the first Leprechaun movie. I do love the movies up to the point where I own them on Blu-ray. You know, so like I say, it's the full collection of every single Leprechaun movie. You know, and seeing them on Blu-ray was nice too. But like I say, for a low budget movie, you're seeing it on Blu-ray, you can straight away see the movie mistakes and the glitches and all that kind of shit. So I used to own these all on DVD before, but now I've owned them all on Blu-ray. So it's a nice set, and it's much more nicer to see the quality of this on Blu-ray. You know, considering back then, you know, it was a whole new different scenario. So that's my review on the first Leprechaun movie, everybody. Like I say, if you haven't seen the Leprechaun movies, check them out before you judge. I don't think people should judge the movies for their budget or their low quality. There's usually reasons behind them particular things, but please check this out. If you're an easy person to please when it comes to horror and you like ridiculous horror movies, or you may even like these movies for a guilty pleasure, I suggest you just check them out. Just give it a try, give them a whirl, and see where you go. That's my first review for the Leprechaun movie. Thanks for watching this, everyone. Please like, rate, and comment, and stay tuned for the sequel. Peace out, everyone. Cheers.